Number 7. Quiet observation. Power, some personalities don't talk much. They listen, they watch, and they notice things that most people completely miss. In a busy room, while others are trying to be heard, quiet personalities are collecting information. They're observing facial expressions, tone of voice, pauses in conversation, and even small shifts in behavior. Not consciously, naturally. This is why many introverted or observant personalities develop strong judgment over time. They may not react quickly, but when they do react, it's usually accurate. For example, think about a workplace meeting. Everyone is sharing opinions loudly, but there's one person sitting quietly taking it all in. Later, when a decision has to be made, that same quiet person often points out the one detail everyone overlooked. And suddenly the room listens. The hidden advantage here is not silence, it's precision. Quiet personalities make fewer emotional mistakes because they spend more time understanding situations before responding. They don't jump to conclusions. They don't rush into decisions. They analyze. Over years, this creates something powerful, better judgment. And in life, good judgment quietly beats loud confidence. But observation alone isn't the most powerful strength. Some personalities carry something even more valuable, an ability to sense what others feel before those feelings become visible. Number 6. Emotional radar. There are people who can walk into a room and instantly feel the atmosphere. They can sense tension, sadness, excitement, or discomfort, even when nobody says a word. Many people call this being too sensitive, but in reality, it's emotional intelligence in action. These personalities notice emotional signals others ignore. A forced smile, a delayed response, a change in energy. And this ability becomes incredibly useful in everyday life. In friendships, they know when someone needs support before that person asks. In relationships, they detect problems early, before arguments explode. In leadership, they understand team morale before productivity drops. This is why emotionally aware personalities often become the people others trust the most. Not because they talk the most, but because they understand the most. Think about the friend everyone opens up to, or the coworker people go to when they're stressed, or the family member who always knows when something is wrong. That person usually has strong emotional radar. And here's the hidden truth. Understanding emotions is one of the most valuable skills in modern life. Because technology is everywhere. Information is everywhere. But genuine emotional understanding is rare. And rare skills create strong influence. But emotional awareness still depends on feelings. Some personalities have a different kind of strength. One that shows up when pressure hits, problems appear, and others start to panic. Number 5. Natural stability. Every group has one person who stays calm when things go wrong. Deadlines get tight. Plans fall apart. Unexpected problems appear, and while others feel stressed, frustrated, or overwhelmed. This person stays steady. These personalities don't react quickly. They regulate themselves first. Their breathing stays slow. Their thinking stays clear. Their decisions stay controlled. That calmness becomes extremely valuable in stressful situations. In workplaces, stable personalities become dependable team members. Managers trust them with responsibility. Coworkers rely on them during pressure. In families, they become the problem solvers. When conflicts happen, they don't escalate emotions. They reduce them. And over time, people start seeing them as reliable, even if they're not the loudest or most confident person in the room. Because reliability builds trust, and trust builds authority. Here's the hidden advantage most people don't notice. Stable personalities don't waste energy on panic. While others are reacting emotionally, they're thinking logically. That gives them a huge long-term edge in careers, relationships, and decision-making. But stability is only part of the story. Some personalities carry a strength that goes even deeper, an ability to adapt, recover, and grow faster than others when life gets difficult. And that's where the next advantage becomes even more powerful. Number 4. Fast recovery ability. Some personalities don't avoid failure, they bounce back from it faster than others. You'll notice this in people who seem calm after setbacks. They lose a job, face rejection, or make a mistake. And instead of staying stuck, they reset quickly. Not because they don't feel pain, but because their mindset is built for recovery. Psychologists often call this resilience, but in real life it looks very simple. They fall, pause, learn, and move again. For example, imagine two people who fail an important exam. One spends months feeling defeated, doubting themselves. The other feels disappointed too, but within days they start planning their next step. Same failure. Different recovery speed. And recovery speed changes everything. Because success in life is not about never failing. It's about how quickly you return to action. These personalities develop emotional flexibility. They don't stay trapped in negative emotions for long. They process them, understand them, and move forward. That's why resilient personalities often achieve more over time, even if they fail more often. They simply spend less time stuck. The hidden advantage here is powerful. They turn setbacks into momentum, but bouncing back is still reactive. Some personalities carry a strength that works before problems even begin, a mindset that quietly pushes them to improve every single day. Number 3, constant self-upgrade. Certain personalities have a built-in urge to improve themselves. They don't need pressure. They don't need reminders. They naturally look for ways to grow. You'll see this in people who read, learn new skills, or reflect on their mistakes without being told. They ask themselves questions like, how can I do this better next time? What did I learn from this? That habit becomes a silent advantage over years, because small improvements repeated daily create massive progress over time. For example, imagine two coworkers starting the same job. One does the minimum required. The other keeps learning new tools, asking questions, and refining their skills. At first, the difference is small, almost invisible, but after 5 years, the gap becomes huge. One stays average, the other becomes valuable. And here's the hidden truth. People who constantly upgrade themselves don't rely on luck. They build their own opportunities. Employers notice them. Friends respect them. Opportunities find them. Not because they're perfect, but because they're improving. This personality trait quietly turns ordinary people into experts over time. But growth alone isn't the most powerful strength. Some personalities have an advantage that directly shapes how others see them. An invisible force that changes conversations, relationships, and even leadership. Number 2, influence without force. Some personalities don't need to raise their voice to be heard. People listen to them naturally. They speak calmly. They stay respectful. They choose their words carefully. And because of that, their voice carries weight. You'll notice this in leaders who don't dominate conversations. Yet everyone pays attention when they speak. It's not about volume. It's about presence. These personalities understand timing. They don't interrupt unnecessarily. They don't argue just to win. Instead, they build trust first, and trust creates influence. For example, think about a person in your life whose advice you always respect. Maybe it's a mentor, a parent, or a friend. They don't pressure you. They don't control you. But when they speak, you listen. That's influence without force. And here's the hidden advantage most people miss. People who influence quietly often lead more effectively than those who demand attention. Because real authority comes from respect, not fear. But even influence is not the strongest advantage. There is one personality strength that sits above all the others. One ability that quietly determines long-term success, happiness, and relationships. And that final advantage is the one most people completely underestimate. Number 1, self-awareness advantage. The most powerful personality advantage is not confidence, not intelligence, not talent. It's self-awareness. The ability to understand yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, your habits, changes everything because most people move through life on autopilot. They react without thinking. They repeat the same mistakes. They blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck. But self-aware personalities pause and ask one simple question. Why did I do that? That question creates growth. For example, after an argument, a self-aware person doesn't just say, they made me angry. They think deeper. They ask, was I stressed? Was I insecure? Did I misunderstand something? That reflection helps them improve the next time. And over years, this habit builds emotional control, better decisions, and stronger relationships. You'll notice something interesting about highly self-aware people. They don't pretend to be perfect. They admit mistakes faster, they adjust faster, they learn faster. That's why they often succeed quietly. Not because life is easier for them, but because they understand themselves better than others do. Here's the hidden truth most people never realize. Your personality is not your limitation. It's your advantage once you understand how to use it. And the moment you become aware of your own patterns, you stop reacting to life and start directing it.